After 3 days of marching from the army led by Ngo Quyen has arrived at Bach Dang. The river appears as a giant mascot. The vast surface of the water drew eyes to the horizon. Stupid tried to walk down the beach. He bent down and grabbed a handful of bun and said, "This is my land. It will also be the tomb of the invaders. Send the weapons here and bring the food to the warehouse. As soon as the camp is stabilized, then immediately put it firmly." And Ngo Quyen took the boat to the river to check for changes in the water flow itself. And then Mr. Cho called the tide scout team. 3 days later, they came back with a notebook full of watermarks. Captured the shoal details and the unpredictable tide of the Bach Dang River. So the preparation starts right away. Ngo Quyen for gathering carpenter blacksmith. Soldiers from across the northeast. The best workers from the mountains of Than Ho. The big limb trees in the forest are cut down. The sound of axes cutting wood echoed through a mile of forest. Each tree was carried by 20 people. Go and date to keep up the pace. After just a few days, thousands of black limb bodies from the deep forests were pulled out. It takes a few more days to transfer. And drifting back to Bach Dang River Wharf. On the riverbank, the Filgene factory was built right next to the riverbank. Where does the wood come from? Is the blacksmith sharpening the head of the wood? And wrap the sharp iron head there. The iron head is forged red hot and pointed like a spear. The blacksmiths work day and night to finish thousands of piles. Buffalo leather blow tank, folding stone kiln, the limb body, straight fine fiber, distinguished iron. It's all a construction site. The spirit of fighting. The water is rising. After days of thorough investigation, General Ngo Quyen decided to choose 2 main beaches. The mud here is deep enough, General, near the mouth of the first enemy ship. A deeper second beach holds the boat when the water recedes. The moment of piling is chosen at night. This is the time to act, because the tide is at its strongest. Enemy ships are easy to keep secret. Cover the eyes of the Southern Han Army. The first night is the worst night. The pile is pulled from the assembly yard to the riverbank. The north wind blows. The river's water was as cold as a knife, cutting into the flesh. Hundreds of soldiers and civilians wading into the shoulder water, handrail each other so as not to be swept away by the water. Hundreds of flickering torches to light the way, out in the middle of the river. A to each pile length, B A2 for meters, weighing about 150 kilograms. And then use a big raft and a small boat to pull the raft out to the docks. That is, until the end of the investment. Is that the tide on the river is receding. To reveal the sludge of your buttocks. Before the pile is plugged in, each group BA for soldiers. I'm going to dig a hole in the mud. Depth about 1.5 meters. The tide is about to recede, so it's easier to dig. Brothers, try up. Because of the sprint time at night, only about 2 to 4 hours, so General Ngo Quyen was quite impatient. Just push it a little harder. The T-pole is made of 7 strokes, and pile it down with a big wooden hammer. A team of 4 straight holders. One who measures inclination by water flow. A location writer. The pile is pointed. The plug is tilted towards the water that pours out into the sea, thick as the forest. It all shows up like a giant-looking table. is pointing the needle towards the invaders, and it's completely hidden in the water when it goes up. General, because it's wrong, we need more stakes. The young soldier, trembling, asked, General, why do I have to plug this much? General Ngo Quyen then explained, we have to put in a lot of piles, because it's just one pile, not enough to kill the enemy. But a forest of stakes, tens of thousands of Southern Han troops, they also have to sink. The wind howling, the sound of the water, the hammers pounding against the night hastened. It's all in a hurry before the tide rises. Fourth watch 5. After about a week, we're going to build a pile. Southern Han warships have reached the edge of the Gulf of Tonkin. Hundreds of sails cover the sea. Chess player stamping the sky. The enemy general returned to chop away pride. Hands to the south. Small buffalo delivery land. If we go to Bach Dang, they'll get down on their knees. An old general intervened. The water is dangerous, to be careful. Promo remover, play. What are we afraid of? A river with 100,000 soldiers? The Southern Han fleet entered the sea like a pack of wild animals. No one can. But don't know that. In front of them, it's a trap set by the mind of a whole nation. Along the river forests, the Viet army built bamboo barricades. Even under the forest canopy, corn rights layered. First class, small fast boat to the side. Second class, large warships ambush after changing land. Third class, bow and crossbow infantry along both banks, ready to pour arrows like rain. Fourth class of firepower, bearded boat, tied rope, waiting for orders to tie it tight. They looked at the map in front of them. I just saw an unbelievable day. We must hold this position at all costs. Parking master small talk. You want to kill them in one shot. Ngo Quyen calm pressure. Not just once hit. It's a fight to rewrite history. After more than half a month, our troops are pilling and trapping the battlefield right now. The sails of Southern Han has flashed to the northeastern estuary. Cat Ba Island Tendon. The first fisherman to find out was the fisherman. He threw his net and rushed into the field, screaming at his neck. There are a lot of strange boats, a lot of boys. Coastal coasts quickly climb up the rocks high. And then they saw a long black line cutting across the ocean. It's not the same as a mast horn. He gritted his teeth and told the general. The fisherman immediately used the Nam boat, climbing like crazy on the waves. In the middle of the road, I met my scouts. A lot of Southern Han boats are coming. Information is immediately transmitted to the emergency barracks. The scout ran out of breath into the camp. The enemy general has arrived at the sea gate to command. He turned his eyes like an arrow. About how much? Soldiers breathe a lot. So much so that the horizon is black. They're coming in fast. Follow the silver wind. Park Sim Master Step 2. General, they arrived a day earlier than expected. No, we just need to keep the bait. He answered calmly, as if he had known. Then he ordered the whole army assembled to inspect the bow and spear. Gather the whole army. Ambush teams in position. Small boat prepared to lure the enemy. A long and slow noise. land through the water as the call of the gods. The whole camp moves like a giant machine. Everyone has their own job. Crossbow teams take cow's oil-laced strings to increase their elasticity. The vase is greased on the bamboo armor. Make it easier for enemy arrows to slip. Someone wrote the last few words on a piece of bamboo for his wife and children. I know you may never have the opportunity to send it. By the bend of the river, small fast boats. About 30 PCs concentrate, waiting for order. They will be the first to meet the enemy. Command probe. All you have to do is to retreat at the right time. You just keep the right time. Don't let them catch you. Don't beat you. Just lure you. The first encounter. Vietnamese decoy fleet appeared after a ground survey. Small light boat. Across the river like a swimming fish. He laughed out loud. Hurry up, he ordered. Chasing them alive. Let's see their faces. My little boat swayed on the waves. Enemy general, exile untrapped, psychological, and feel aroused. I thought this Fen could easily strangle a small South Korean army. He gave orders. Chasing these barbarians alive, show me their faces. Big boat, South Han speed up wind sail. Fast forward into the river. But our small fleet doesn't retreat. Sudden escape tactics have been changed. According to the plan. They're circling. Radiate out. Like wanting to get more excited. Let the Southern Han move faster. Then suddenly I hit a blow. Throw 2 darts and pull out as fast as a ball. A Southern Han boat hit the Lao. A soldier hit by an arrow. That's enough to make you angry. Cast them all out for me. The giant fleet began to move deep into the pile. Without even knowing, they've just entered the matrix. It's built with great wisdom. The great of the small on the meat. This is the last time to watch the dragon around 10 o'clock in the afternoon. On the shore, General Ngo Quyen stood on the observation station. He calmly watched every boat. Hold the sword tight. The northeast wind blew Razro behind him. The master asked, "Will the general give an order now?" Ngo Quyen looked up at the rising sun. He saw every Southern Han boat into the middle of Tusan, where the pile is deep in the afternoon water. He said, "Sure as stone, we don't have to let them go any deeper. When we hit the water, the river will fight with me. You know, just a little more. The tide will change. The country will withdraw and the entire Southern Han army. They will be trapped in your trap." So far, the sun has been shining. Report to the general immediately. A scout in a hurry to issue a report. The tide has begun to change direction. Ngo Quyen clenched the hilt of the sword, the sun's shining like lightning. It's time. It's time for the river to start moving. Like a sleeping animal that wakes up. The water began to recede, not rushing, but very strongly. Water begins to recede. The river moves like an animal that has woken up. It is at the beginning of the day, about 11 o'clock in the afternoon. The pivotal moment of the war, it has officially started. The waves are rolling along the river. Deep water vortices, it's starting to unfold into dark circles. In the distance, a Southern Han soldier on a large boat uttered first. The water is coming down. I don't believe in my ears. The water goes down so fast, but the flow answered. The big ships, heavy capital and need deep water to move, start to slow down. Some of the boats in front are tilting slightly. Column. The bottom of the boat hit something. A crack of wood echoed. Then the second hour. Then the third. From the observation station, I can hear those sounds very well. The sound of limbs pile tearing the bottom of the boat. They're trapped by the master's clenched hands. Right now, Southern Han's flagship suddenly stalled. Let the soldiers on board get in front of the enemy and scream. Pull out the paddle and turn your nose quickly, but it's too late. A limb spire rising out of the water. It's like an iron sword sticking out of the river, straight into the boat network. Water pours in through the hole. It makes a horrible noise. Behind the other boats could not manage. Continuous hitting to form a chaotic VA touching sequence. On his big boat, the Emperor rowed off. Oh my God, the whole pile, the boat, the boat. But his soldiers can't turn anything around. Water receding too fast, the current pushes all the way back into the middle of the pile. The boats that are the pride of Southern Han. Now it's like buffalo getting shot in the leg. Continuous tumbling. In the distance, from behind the land, the small boat fleet of Dai Viet turned its nose. Seeing that chaotic scene, everyone held their breath. The moment the attack begins, on the shore of Wu, right to draw the sword from the shell, he raised his sword high and shouted, as wide as thunder. The total attack of the prisoners in Dai Viet blew up. Long, strong base. The riverside forests are waking up. From the banks, from the mounds, from the parrot forest, from the small creeks, thousands of Dai Viet troops simultaneously stormed Ra. The sound of death echoed through the sky. Warships hiding behind the hill suddenly launched out. Rowing machines simultaneously sweeping the water to create a long, strong streak. The crossbow fired the first volleys, like rain falling on the renegade Southern Han army. The Southern Han army screamed. A commander shouted, "Attack the stranded ships first. Hit the boat that's stuck first. Don't let them rescue each other." The arrows laced with oil plugged into the sail of the Southern Han, the fire raged. In the middle of the battle, trying to stand on my rocking boat. Everywhere he looked, there was fire. It's a scream, it's a wreck. Die back. He screamed for the mountains, and they all turned back to the sea. But a boat can turn? They're all locked up by limb stake, like animals in a cage. The details, the most intense and intense of the Great War. This is still ahead. The fate of the enemy, and the independence of the nation. It will be revealed in the final episode. I invite you and your friends to watch the final episode. Monday night the following week. Thank you for everyone's love and support. Channels in the past few days. At this end, the water is receding. The stakes are higher than the long ones, rising like a forest of swords from the riverbed. The desperate South Han soldiers. A limb stake pierced through the bottom of their boat. Water flush into pool, according to the sound of shouting. Save 7 bar. Save with. But Bach Dang did not save the invaders. Great Viet landing. Dai Viet small warships close to the big stranded boats. Dai Viet warriors jumped into enemy boats like leopards flying. And the Southern Han army, to pull here with the mind of the invader. They are now like the weak and weak. The Dai Viet soldiers rushed up, long handle, short axe. The South Korean army is desperately fighting. VA steel slammed into steel, the sound of wood breaking, the sound of people screaming at each other. It's a kind of creepy sound. It covers the river. It is time to hunt the enemy. On the king's big boat to remove the fallen soldiers. He tried to draw his sword every time, his face flushed with fear and indignation. A Viet Lao army arrived. The commander shouted, "Kill him, cut off the snake's head. Kill the snake head." The king retreated to the glaring mast. He knows this battle. He lost before he set foot on the field. He swung his sword in despair, like a Dai Viet spear pierced through his armor. Plug it into the chest and unscrew it. Eyes wide open and dying as if to ask a favor. But it's too late. He saw the white sky above, and under his feet the red water flowed. He fell off the boat. The water carried him away like a leaf. That's the moment the entire Southern Han army broke up. By the end of the day, it was about 4 p.m. The afternoon water has dried up. The river is violent. In the morning, there's a bare face. The destruction of the battlefield. The smell of burning wood, the smell of blood. Stirred up and mixed together, choking hard. The Dai Viet army began to scatter across the river. Quietly inspect each enemy ship. There's a seriously injured survivor who's been dragged ashore. No one is laughing. No one is laughing. On another river, the body of the Southern Han commander was recovered. Heavy water armor. The face is still full of horror that can't be closed. On the high dike, General Ngo Quyen stood silently looking down at the battlefield. The young general comes up behind on one knee. "General, the enemy is completely destroyed." That night, Vietnamese soldiers eat simple late meals like every day. Dried fish, rice ball, boiled river water. But it's never been so quiet. Everyone knows they've just crossed a line that your father never walked up to. Early morning the next day, for people to remove pile on the Bach Dang River. Not to erase traces, but let the river flow again. He said, "Let it remember, and let it live. This river must be reborn." The remaining wood remains intact, like a row of nameless gravestones in the middle of a river, to this day. Ngo Quyen, the great national hero, who ended more than 1,000 years of an era of independence for the nation. Winning the war didn't just save an era. Give it back to your children forever. The right to own the river. That man sacrificed the blood of this people for 1,000 generations. Thank you for everyone's affection. I will always support and accompany the channel in the next section of the new series about the great heroes of the nation. See you all this Saturday night.